Buenas tardes, Miravalles. Today's art lesson is going to be about landscapes. Who knows what a landscape is? I guess you can't tell me, so I'm going to tell you. A landscape is art that is drawn or painted and it's outside. You can usually see the sky. You can see sometimes clouds or stars if it's at nighttime. You can see mountains often. Sometimes there's forest or flat land, definitely some kind of trees. Sometimes you see animals, sometimes you see houses or other kinds of buildings. The artist that we're going to be looking at today when we look at landscape art is Vincent van Gogh. I bet some of you know his name. So let's check out what Vincent van Gogh has made. Vincent van Gogh landscapes. So, as you can see by this picture that he made of himself, it's a self-portrait, he painted with some very short lines and he mixed his colors with all different kinds of lines throughout his painting. You all have worked with lines and we're going to continue that work today. First, let's talk about the 4 parts of a landscape. This is the background. In the background, you're going to find your sky. Back in the background, maybe there's some clouds. This is what you call the horizon line, which separates the earth from the sky. Maybe it's the top of a mountain, or maybe it's flat land. You can recognize the word horizon because it sounds like the word horizontal, and both of them go side to side. This part of your picture is called the middle ground, and it's right in the middle of your paper. This part is called the foreground, and it's at the bottom. As you can see, the objects in the foreground look very large, kind of like my finger right now. There's big trees. If you look in the middle ground, these are farther away, so they're going to look smaller. I bet most of you have seen this picture before. It's Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. One of the most beautiful things about this painting is the way Vincent van Gogh mixed the dark blue with the light blue and the medium blue. He also added white and black to create the swirls of the stars in the sky. So you might want to be adding some swirly sky to your landscape today. I don't know. Something Vincent van Gogh sure did paint a lot of is trees. You can see in this picture, this is a great example of the foreground and middle ground. This tree is big because it's supposed to be closer to us. As we get further away, the trees are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Something else to notice about this piece of art is the way Vincent van Gogh has mixed the different browns and kind of yellows to create the lines in the foreground. He did the same thing right here with 2 or 3 kinds of green and even further into the middle ground with green and yellow. So, some of Vincent van Gogh's favorite kind of trees to paint were olive trees. Who likes olives? I love olives, but maybe some people don't like them because they're salty. They are salty, but they sure are good. So, if you look here in the foreground, you can see many different kinds of green. Look at the lines that he uses to make his trees. They're kind of crazy and crooked with swirly paint up here to show the leaves of the trees. Many different blues are used to create the hills in the background. And this cloud almost looks like a puff of smoke coming down. Here we go with more olive trees, and this is probably my favorite painting of Van Gogh's, showing the olive trees. I like the way that he made the shadows here a different color coming down from the trees. And especially the way he made the sun in the sky with all of these different lines radiating out from the circle in the center. So maybe you want to try that in your picture. All right, so let's take a breakdown of the kind of lines we see. horizontal sideways lines, swirly lines, the ones around the sun, like the circle, and some curvy lines that we might find in the trees, especially in that tree in Starry Night. So, this is the sort of very simple version. Kindergarten, maybe you're going to try that with 1, 2 lines, maybe 3 lines in a sky. First grade, I would like you to definitely try to do 1, 2, at least 3 or 4 lines. After you make the lines, then you're going to work on making short lines of different colors in each section. Let's look at some student artwork. Here we go, different students copying Van Gogh's style. Boy, this student did a really good job copying Starry Night with those swirly lines. This student did a good job over here too. Everybody's a different artist. That's what I want to see with you guys today. Ooh, maybe some of you might want to get in there with your fingers and do some painting. Look at the swirly sky over here. All right, so when you get started, you should divide your paper up with a couple of different lines, and then you can start making the tiny lines on the inside. Maybe, like Vincent van Gogh, you want to add a olive tree, or maybe you want to add a Guanacaste tree, or any kind of tree you like. I love the way he paints his trees. So, of course, you can have your choice when you work today of using markers or crayons or paints or pastels, whatever you have in your house. I'm so excited to see what you're going to do for this Vincent van Gogh landscape project. And have fun. You can do it. All right. See you next week. Adios.